Now let's start getting data from the sales sheet into our lead sheet. To do that, we will have to use a function called as VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP function in Excel helps us get data from one table into other when there are some common columns between them. So here the common column between the two tables is the customer name that is stated over here. If I go to a table or sheet number 2, that is sales, here is the customer name. So that's the column that is common. So ideally we have to find one column which has a unique value which can be used to match the two tables. If you have customer ID or lead ID, you can use that here as well. In this data set, I have a unique customer names which are not repeating, and that is why I am using customer name to join the two tables. Now in the sales table, these three columns, category, order, and sales value. Category, order, and sales value are the ones that are interest to me. I want to take these three columns into the lead sheet. For that, I will have to go to the lead sheet over here. And let's write the names of these three columns. So in this case, I'm just going to copy these three: category, order, dates, sales, and only the names. Control C, going to the leads sheet, Control V. Now, whichever customer has actually bought, for that customer, you will get some category value in the category column. And whichever customer has not bought, that is the customer that is not present in the sales table. For that customer, we will get some special value which is shown as hash and NA. So let's start getting the data from other table first, and then I will explain you the data. For this, we will enter is equal to VLOOKUP. Going to this J2 cell equals to VLOOKUP. Whenever we are entering formula, we started with this equal to and VLOOKUP. It takes four values that are shown out here. The first value is the VLOOKUP value. That is the value on which we want to match. Here the value is the customer name. So I have clicked on that cell over here, which is customer name, very first cell B2. Then enter a comma. Then we will have to select the table array, that is the table from which we have to get the new data. Going here, entering comma. Yeah. Now the second is highlighted, which is the table array. And for that, I have to go to the second sheet, that is sales. And here we will have to select the common name. For this second table, we have to select the entire table out here. You can start at the top of the left cell and then press Ctrl Shift. So I'm going to start the common, which is customer name, starting here again on sales sheet B2. Now I'm selecting Control Shift left arrow. I'm selecting all the cells in my from left to right, and now I'm selecting Control Shift down. That will select the entire table for me. You have to make sure that the column that you are matching is the first column. Yeah, so this is what I mean over here. The column that I'm matching is the first column, which is the customer name. Then enter a comma here as well. And the third parameter here is the index of the column. Yeah, so the third parameter is the index of the column out here. So in this table, first column is the customer name, second is the salesperson assigned, and the third one is the category. Customer name, category, and sales. So I'll go ahead and match. So here is my first, second, and third. So this category is in with reference to my customer name. This is my first column, this is my second column, and this is my third column. So this category lies in column 3. So I will have to enter a number 3 over here. And you see how I got that. My first column is customer name, salesperson, that is second, and third one is category, and category is the one I'm looking for. So I'll enter 3 over here. Then I will enter comma here. The last is the optional parameter. And here, because we want the exact name match, we are going to enter either a 0 or a false. So I can enter a 0, which by default is a false. And then I will close the bracket and press enter. You can see that it shows a value hash and /NA. This means that this particular customer did not purchase. That is, the customer was not available in the sales table. Now I have to do this for all the leads in the table. Enter this formula for each customer to be very tedious. Yeah, so if I start entering this formula out here for each of this cell, it will be very tedious task for me. For doing this, easily we can simply extend this formula to the other cells by clicking on the bottom right. So I will go here, click on the bottom right, and suppose if I drag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total 5 cells. And then I will get this. So you notice that as you go from top to bottom here, you see it's B2, sales, B2, F, 321 and 3. If I go to the next one, it changes to B3, sales, B3, F, 322. If I go below couple, it becomes B5, sales B5 and F324. And I do not want that. So that is, yeah, so even the formula. So this is because Excel picks the next cell within the formula, and we absolutely do not want that. So this is happening because, yeah, Excel is automatically updating the formula in the direction in which you are extending it. So for that, again, I will go in the main formula itself, and the fix is very simple, very straightforward. I will add a dollar symbol, dollar sign over here. So in front of B, dollar, I will go to the right. In front of 2 as well, I will add a dollar. And then in front of if, oops, sorry, it went to the last one. In front of if as well, I will add a dollar sign. And in front of 321, also I'll add a dollar sign and press enter out here. And now if I drag to the same down, you can see some terms have came up. Yeah, so now I'm beginning to start seeing the category values. In second one as well, I'm seeing an NA, meaning that customer didn't make any purchase. If I go to the third one, you can see this is change which I want B4, but all the three categories from the sales sheet have remained the constant, which is B2 F321. Same if I go down, it's still B2 F321 because I want all these three category tables to be the same, comparing within the same. So that's what I've been wanting. So so once I add the dollar sign, yeah, I get a solution the right way I want it. Now, if you just want to extend it to the last sale point, just go to this bottom, or maybe I'll just I'll delete all these three. Let's keep it standard very first. And I know I have these dollar signs over here, and I will just double click out here. Now the Excel has extended it to the VLOOKUP formula to the last cell. Yeah. So now we have the category values for whichever lead in which has converted into actual customer. And you can see there are numerous data points out here. And yeah, the Excel has did its job and it has identified the leads. The total 797 data points out here, and it has extended all the leads all the way to the down. The next column is order date. For order date, you have to look again for the same table. The only difference here is that instead of column 3, we have to get the details from column number 4. So this is what I'm talking about. So here is our column number 3, which is reference to in the sales sheet. And this was our column number 3, that was category. And now we are looking at order. So with reference to the customer name in sheet sales, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's your order date. Yeah. So this is how I'm getting the number 4. I'm going back into my lead sheet. All I'm doing is copying the same VLOOKUP formula, pasting it, Control V. And here when I move that, I can see there are two changes. One is my initial data, that is B2, has changed from B2, it has changed to C2. So I will again reference back that again to B2. This time I'm not going to use a dollar sign because it's a one-time change I have to do. So that's the first change I did. Second one is instead of using 3, I have to use 4. And again, I will repeat myself why I used 4 as compared with 3 in this case is because 3 is the category here with reference to my customer name. 1, 2, and 3, that's category. And this time I'm using 4 because I'm looking for order date. And this order date in the reference to my customer name in sheet sales is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's how I'm using the number 4 out here. Everything else remains the same after I made the change from C2 to B2, and I will drag it all the way down. Same thing I'm doing for the next column, which is sales. So first, the very first thing is I'm copying this entire VLOOKUP formula, Control C, going to my sales, Control V. Here also, one change I'm seeing is since I copied the Excel, copied it in an incremental order in the direction I'm moving from, from like here to here, which is from left to right. So again, it also moved from B to C. So I'm changing this back again to B because that's my common column I'm looking for. That is the customer name, which is a common column between leads and sales. So that's the first change I made, B2. Second one, instead of using 4, which was order date over here, I'll be using 5. So I'm changing that to number 5. I'm pressing enter. And again, I will explain why I chose number 5. I'm trying to copy all the key information from my sales sheet into leads, and the common factor I'm using is the common column, which is customer name, which is common between leads and sale. So here is customer name, here is customer name, and in my sheet sales, the customer name is common, and the sales is with respect to customer name, it is number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's the number I'm going to use in my sales, which is number 5 out here. This has been corrected to B2, so everything looks correct. So I'm going to enter. Then I'm going to drag the formula all the way down. And here I can see I'm getting some numbers. Now I'm going back into my order date part, and you can see the date doesn't look correct. In here, there is a certain format of the date, month, date, year, and it doesn't look correct. That's because Excel is taking a default date format. That's very easy to fix. So all I'm doing is I'm selecting my column K, then I'm going to home, and in the home, this number sub-tab, I will expand this, and here I can see there is short date, long date. I'll be using short date because that's the format that has been used in the sales sheet. So I'm using that, and here I can see everything is corrected back to the original date format, which was pretty straightforward. Now for the sales lead, we are getting this hash value. Let us change this to not converted because this hash value technically doesn't make any sense. And when we are trying to do the further analysis, it may give some confusing results and our formulas might not work. So let us change all the cells which contain the hash to a string called as not converted. To do that, we have to first select all the rows where hash NA is present. To do that, we have to use the filter data. We can apply the filter by selecting the table over here. So I'm selecting the entire table. So again, I will use Control Shift right as well as Control Shift down. Then go to the data tab, and here you will find the option of filters. So I'm going to the data tab, and here I'm finding this option of filters. Going all the way up again. You can see these small triangles have appeared on all the headers that we have. These are the drop downs, and these represent that you can use the filter your data. So if you click on this drop down, you will see sorting options first, and then you will see the filtering option. So for example, I'm going here, clicking this. So I see, yeah, sorting and then filtering. Yeah, so top is my sort A to Z, Z to A, and further advanced one, custom sheet view. And then there are filtering options out here. So currently here, all of these are selected. So I will click on select, this select all. So that will uncheck all my selected options. Then you can see I'll be selecting only the hash NA value. Then clicking OK. So what it did is it is only showing me all the entities, all the entries that has hash NA values. So the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here on the very first is NOTCONVERTED. Yeah, so this is the text I'm going to write. The next thing I'm going to do is Control C, that is copy this, and then again Control Shift right, Control Shift down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Control V. So what this is going to do is it is going to yeah, overwrite or replace all my hash NA into not converted. And I'm just extending these so that is these are looking complete. And once I do that, I'm going to go this filter option again and select all. So it will show me all the entries, including not converted as well as the original converted and the respective values from the VLOOKUP command. Now I'm going to add one more column, which will tell me whether a particular lead was converted or not. Going ahead. Expand it. So currently, if I look at my category column over here, it says either not converted or it gives me the category. But later on, if I want to simplify filter out all the leads which were actually converted, or if I just want to look at the data of leads which were converted or not converted, then we will need this column. To do this, I'm going to use an if function. So here is the syntax equals to if, the logical test. So I'm going to select J2 equals to not converted, inverted comma, close. And if this condition is true, then say no, or else say yes. I'm going to close this out. So yeah, as per this syntax, if the condition is met, it will show me some value. If the condition is not met, it will show me the other value. So technically what I've done is, so let us write this a formula. And because this string I'm entering, it is in double quotation mark. What happens is that if it is true, it will give me no, or else it will give me yes. So the formula is pretty straightforward. Yeah, enter a condition, noted commas, try to compare this, and if it is met, then it will enter this value, which is no, or else it will enter the other value, which is yes. So that's a straightforward formula. If the category says it is not converted, then it should say no. So yeah, I'm going to drag it. Here also it's going to say no, and I'm going to drag it all the way down. So you can see there is some value, so it is converted. So there is a value that says yes, here also is converted, value says yes, here also converted, value says yes, and for rest it is going to say no. Lastly, if you have looked at the case study, we are also interested in finding out the time between lead and the order date. Yeah, so here is a lead date and your order date. So our goal is to find the number of days taken between lead and the order date. For that, I have added another column called as conversion days, and I'm going to use this formula over here. So I'm going to start with equals to if command bracket start logical test. I'm going to say if K2 equals to inverted commas not converted, then write the same not converted, or I want the difference between these two dates. So I'll be writing K2 minus I2, which is my lead date, and bracket close, and I'm going to say enter. So here in the first case, since it is not converted, I'm getting the same, so that my first condition is being satisfied. That is K2. If it is not converted, then the same not converted. And I go to drag the formula all the way down. And here I can see some of the cells which are saying not converted because it is identifying as not converted. And in some of the cells, I'm going to see I'm seeing actual numbers out here. So for example, if I take the first number, that is 28. So here what it is telling is the lead was received on 16th of April and the actual order date was placed on 14th of May. So it was full 28 days. Similarly, if I go down all the way, for example, if I take this cell over here, so it is telling me the lead was received on 9th of May and the actual order was placed on 13th of May. So that's why I'm getting 4. So if I go all the way down, I should get the whole cell covered, and the answers must be very consistent. So by this analysis, your data is ready and you are ready to answer some of the questions that were asked by Mr. Gupta in the case study.